What is an altar? What is a prayer altar? Why is a prayer altar necessary? Before you start talking about how to build one, you should at least know what it is. Have you not been so? You should at least know what it is. You see, brethren, the necessity of prayer is such that if as a Christian you do not know how, or you do not have a prayer altar, you will find that you will consistently be suffering from a strange feeling of distance from God. You will always be feeling as if God is so far and cannot be reached. If you do not prioritize prayer, if you've not learned how to spend time alone with God, that sense of distance will always exist. You know why? Because there are two major issues that arise when the matters of prayer begin to come up. One, in prayer, it's not like me dealing with Jessica. In dealing with Jessica, I can see her physically. We can talk. But in prayer, when you are attempting to have relationships with God and go further with God, the first block you will have in your mind is that God is a spirit. God is a spirit. So the normal rules of engagement for relationships become fluid in that sense that what we hold when I'm dealing with a mortal that I can see, I can feel, and I can touch, no longer holds, because the entity I am dealing with is what? Spirit. So the next thing becomes, how do I deal with a spirit? That is why the altar becomes necessary. The altar now becomes the platform where mortality can now find common ground with spirit. That is physical can now engage spiritual. That is humanity can now find divinity. That's what the altar is. The altar is what provides that common platform for that kind of intercourse to happen. Is the prayer altar that provides the leverage for you to invite the Spirit of God to come and engage your own spirit. This is why even though Jesus was God, he still needed to withdraw himself at certain times, go to a place where he could be alone with the Father, and create an atmosphere where God could invade his space. Now, if you were around when we were dealing with the instruments of redemption, I said to you that God designed this realm in such a way that even himself cannot invade without the partnership of a man. It's not possible. So what the altar does is that it provides license for God. License for God. That's what the altar does. So you will never truly know how to receive the things that are freely given unto us. You will never know how to download the things that exist in God's realm until you have learned how to build a prayer altar. It is the prayer altar that creates a portal and a pathway for spiritual things to come to your level where you can access them. It's a prayer altar. If you don't have a prayer altar, God can be releasing things from his realm. There's no way you can handle it. There's no way you can decipher it. There's no way you can touch that reality. There's no way you can experience it. The altar is what provides license for things that are intangible, things that are immaterial, things that are in the realm of God to become things that you can connect with in the visible realm. Let me give you an example. Let me show you something. Give me Ephesians 3:18. Let's do 18 and 19. Ephesians 3:18 and 19. This one, our clock is not there. I don't want to. Ephesians 3:18 and 19. Okay, go to 17 so that it doesn't look like we're slanting. That Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you being rooted and grounded in love, 18, may be able to comprehend with all the saints what is the width and length and depth and height, yes, to know the love of Christ which passes knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now this is something that Paul is saying that is possible to the Christian, that you can know the love of Christ which passeth knowledge, and that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Let me ask you now, if someone were to ask you now, are you filled with all the fullness of God? Do you have the boldness to be able to measure, I am filled halfway, I'm filled 70%, or I'm filled 100%? This is a reality that is available to every Christian. But I'm saying to you that these kind of realities, these kind of possibilities, what makes them accessible to you, that it now becomes your living reality, is that you have built an altar that creates a pathway in the spirit such that these kind of experiences can be yours. Let's read it in the Amplified, so you'll see something. Give me Amplified. Give me this verse in Amplified, 19, Amplified. Now look. That you may really come to know. Look at what he puts in bracket. Practically, through what? Experience. For who? Yourselves. Practically. Now, what are you going to know? The love of Christ, which surpasses what? Man knowledge. What is man knowledge? Knowledge without experience. All right? That you may be filled through all your being, unto all the fullness of God. What is the fullness of God? May have the richest measure of the what? Divine presence. Are you here? And become a body wholly filled and flooded with what? God himself. Are you seeing that? That reality, this experience that Paul is describing, and remember, this is Paul's burden in prayer for the Ephesian church. This experience is describing that you become wholly filled, that your body is flooded with God himself. You will not know this reality if you have not built an altar to trap his essence. Why? God is spirit. So if you are going to receive anything from him, it's going to be spiritual. The essence of it will be spirit. What I'm saying to you is, if you don't have a prayer altar, you are shortchanging yourself. There are many promises in scriptures you will not be able to enter. You will not be able to enjoy your Christian life. Look at what he says here. He said that you may have the richest measure of the divine presence. Oh my God, Talivanakaya. The richest measure of the divine presence. Like I was saying on Sunday, when you become a mobile router, anywhere you enter, you afflict the place with the fragrance of heaven. We are supposed to be merchants. That the merchandise that we give to men is divine presence. Divine presence. But you see, the average Christian is satisfied with just attending church, enjoying service. He doesn't know that there is more. He's a container, he's a vessel. He's supposed to be like a sponge. Have you seen a sponge before? A sponge soaks in water. When you squeeze it, the water comes out of it. When men touch you, they should touch God. When they hear you, they should hear God. When they see you, they should literally see God. Because you should have the richest measure of what? Divine presence. If there is no place that you have created for that intercourse between physical and spiritual to happen, you will not know this experience. When the Bible says that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, speaking about the mysteries of the wisdom of God that were hidden from the beginning of the age, saying that no man can know the things that are in the heart of the man except the spirit of the man. Likewise, no man knows the things that are in the heart of God except the spirit of God. And the spirit of God searcheth all things, even yea, the deep things of God. Those kind of deep things that exist in the realm of God, you qualify yourself for such engagements and experiences when you have built an altar. Are we together to that point? So what is an altar? Before we talk about what is a prayer altar, let us go to the Bible to see what an altar is. So what I like to do is that I go to the Bible to find out where the word was used the first time. And the first place I find is in Genesis chapter 8. Genesis chapter 8 and verse 20. Is somebody getting blessed? Genesis chapter 8 and verse 20. Go back to New King James. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Number 2, next verse 21. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. So go back to 20. He built an altar to the Lord. So there are two people in this equation. You have Noah and you have who? The Lord. So an altar, like we've been trying to say, even when Ovi was leading prayer, an altar is a place of engagement, a place of intimacy and relationship between divinity and humanity. That's what an altar is. So you see, he built an altar to the Lord. So even in the negative supernatural, altars are built. So you will have a human being who erects a platform, and the whole idea of that platform is to provide legal grounds for engagement between mortal and spirit. So somebody in a territory can build an altar to Oloku. Somebody in a territory can build an altar to Shango. Somebody can build an altar to all kinds of strange demons. Because what altars are is that it provides a legal premise for physical and spiritual, divine and human, to find common ground and engagement. That's number 1. Number 2, he took of every clean animal of every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Number 2, an altar is a place of sacrifice. A place of sacrifice. An altar is a place of sacrifice. That means an altar is useless if there is not a consistent sacrifice on it. An altar is not just to fill space and time. It is there to provide the legal premise. Then, once the legal premise has been established for the spirit to be able to invade the realm of men, such that there's common ground for intimacy and intercourse, then the spirit will begin to demand sacrifices. The one to whom the altar has been erected will now begin to demand sacrifices, and the one who erected the altar will be obligated by covenant to provide those sacrifices. That's why even in the negative supernatural, when you find a priest of darkness, he knows or she knows the demands that the strange spirit has put upon her, and she does everything to keep it. That altar will demand sacrifices. So number 2, the altar is a place of sacrifice. Number 3, go to the next verse. Go to the next verse. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Number 3, the altar is the place for seeking supernatural and divine favor and assistance. Supernatural and divine favor and assistance. Now, in ancient Israel, if you read through scriptures, if you're a student of the Bible, you will understand that when the Bible says the Lord smelled a sweet aroma, what does it actually indicate? It means that the person who has brought that offering has found favor in God's sight. That to offer that sacrifice, because the word that is translated offering in the Hebrew is a word that comes from another word that means to draw near. If I remember correctly, if I remember my Hebrew a little, it should be korban or kaban, something like that. That word actually means to draw near. So when you are bringing a sacrifice in the Hebrew, what you are doing is that you are doing what? Drawing near. Now when you have drawn near, it's like when you approach a king, it's not enough that you came, you must find favor in his sight. Are you here? This is why when Mordecai was trying to put Esther under pressure, Esther said, no man goes to the king unless he sends for you. So how you will know that if he does not send for you and you appear there, then you must find what? Favor. He will have to stretch his scepter to you. Otherwise, the guards that are guarding the palace, you have breached protocol. They will automatically bundle you and sentence you to death. That's how it worked. That's why Esther said, anyway, since he has not sent for me, just fast. I will go and show myself, and if I perish, I perish. She was expecting that if she doesn't find favor in the eye of the king, automatically the guards are going to bundle her and sentence her to death, even though she was queen. This is why the Bible says that when she arrived at the king's palace, he stretched forth his scepter to her. That was to say to the people, I have smelled a sweet savour. Are you here? And she has found favor in my sight.